afternoon, and you know what that means. Ringside Heat is on the air on News Talk Saga 960 AM, your favorite podcatcher, on Spotify, and on Friday afternoons at 3 p.m. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Lex Tan, host and producer of the show. Welcome to Ringside Heat on the airwaves here on AM 960. And thank you so much for tuning in. I've got the ring crew with me right here. To my right, member Barry, Colin Dodge, at Risen72. Also, the podcast host of the Godzilla podcast, Ken Jiracast, which you can catch wherever you get your podcast. To the bottom right of the screen over here is our director of digital content. He's got a Blue Jays blog at Jets on Base. At Tabuada93 is where you can reach him straight ahead. His name is Jose Tabuada. And below me over here is our wrestling memorabilia collector, expert on all things memorabilia at Coco Collects, Chico Nugent. Gentlemen, welcome to the show.
Howdy. Hello.
Hi, guys.
Hey, Chico.
Hello.
There we go.
There we go.
It's funny to see Lex pointing at different corners of the screen when he introduces us each week. Usually he gets it right. Today, he was just pointing to one side and said different directions.
It went the other way, right?
It's pretty funny.
But
he got the spoken direction right, but he was just randomly to my right.
That's the tough thing about not mirroring your video over here. So
well, you can tell by his wardrobe he's very conflicted, so no wonder he doesn't know where to point.
I am.
Realize that. Oh my God! For those that
he can't choose a side. Go ahead.
For those that are listening on the radio,
let's explain a visual for radio.
Yes, please. Go ahead.
For those that are listening on the radio, and again, if you're listening to this on a Wednesday, tune in on Friday, or if you are listening on the podcast, go to YouTube. Lex is currently wearing the American Nightmare baseball jersey that he got last year at WrestleMania 40 in Philadelphia. Yeah. But on his head, to cover that incredible shine, he is wearing the Toronto version of John Cena's cap. You Can't See Me, that was exclusively available during Elimination Chamber weekend a couple of weeks back.
Yeah. He's flexing. Yeah.
It came in the mail today at the time of the date of the recording, and this setup. It's like the angel and the devil on his head and torso. I don't know, fellas. Go ahead.
I think his mind's telling him John Cena, but his heart's telling him Cody Rhodes, according to where the gear is placed.
Wow.
That is what Lex Tan is conflicted with.
Chico could not have said it better than that, folks. Chico Nugent, everybody.
I am. And what? We will be talking about this and the master class of promo that both Cody Rhodes and John Cena delivered last Monday night on Raw. But first, before we get into that, for whatever reason, I started writing up some wrestling jokes a la late night talk show style, and I wanted to get some groans out of you guys over here, which you guys actually mentioned before we got on the air over here, that whatever I say makes you groan anyway. So you know what? Hey, the same energy. Let's go for it.
I think in other words, water is wet.
Yes, exactly. So here's the first joke that I wrote over here. CM Punk recently revealed that he doesn't like the Beatles. He called them 100% overrated, phony boy band that was manufactured and went to crappy phases. Wow. Said one wrestler, overrated, phony, manufactured, crappy phases? That's a lot of suffering, succotash.
I can't even hit a rim shot with that one.
I'm ready to just talk wrestling, folks. I don't know why we're enduring this.
Well, you know what? As long as nobody is pouring a can of dog food over me while I'm tied in the ring post in the corner, I'm good.
I can respect that. I can respect that. Absolutely. Yep.
Mm-hmm. WWE and mobile game Clash of Clans announcing a new partnership where the game will feature WWE-themed features like gameplay events, skins, and Easter eggs, as well as a roster of WWE superstars reimagined as characters within the game, like Cody, Overlord Rhodes as the Barbarian King, and Becky Lynch as the Valkyrie. Reports say that AEW attempted to pitch a similar partnership last week on Dynamite during the Jon Moxley Cope match, but realized too late it was a pitch for Spike TV.
You know what's funny about this is that Chico and I gave each other both a look that said, "Oh, there's more," and we both internally panicked, and the panic was so validated. And I on behalf of Chico, we feel vindicated.
Yeah, Yeah.
I will not be baited. Nope.
Yeah,
No,
you know what?
no, Colin, absolutely not.
Folks, I think this is the first time in radio history where even though there are words being spoken, that could be classified as dead air.
Oh,
Ooh,
bravo!
very
See,
nice.
that worked.
Very
Look
nice.
at that. There we go. There it is.
That's good. That's good.
Oh.
That's great. That's
The
great.
Pundertaker returns.
We love to see it.
That's right, the Undertaker. I pointed the right direction this time.
There we go.
Last one. Last Friday, Jacob Fatu was caught on camera jamming away on a grand piano as viewers on social media praised him for his many talents. When asked to confirm if the video was real, Tamatanga replied, "Why, yes, Jacob does know how to play the piano and has quite the electric repertoire."
Okay.
I don't get these.
Yeah. I
Respect them.
I'll be
know-
honest with you, 0 out of 3.
Okay, fine. What's the punchline? Okay, would you have liked the punchline to be for that one to be yeah?
Yeah, actually, because
Okay.
that's what he would have said. Oh, when
Which is the reason why I took that. Which is the reason why I took that. Made you not give you something else that you wouldn't have expected.
Folks, don't worry. This turns into an inspirational story where, Lex Tan overcomes utter failure.
well,
Hey,
folks.
I overcome utter failure every day. I was born. I'm joking.
Okay.
Well, folks, if you're still here somehow
Oh my
listening to
goodness.
our program, folks, we thank you for tuning in on Saga 960 AM. Fun show for you today, folks.
Colin, I
Lot of
heard
talk-
AEW Dynasty's coming soon?
Yes, AEW
Dynasty is coming soon. I believe in 4 days, if my math is correct, if I carry the one and add the decimal point. And that would be Sunday,
Yes.
April 6th. Speaking of 6, not 3 of them, but another 6 is just 6 matches right now for the main card. But we still have Dynasty and Collision to get through, so we'll see what happens after that.
I see.
Absolutely. As I take over for the next 30 seconds, not anymore. I was ready.
Everyone's
I was
in a
ready.
different corner now. Okay,
was
we're
ready.
back. All right.
Um,
Okay,
I
I
was
pressed
ready.
the back button on my mouse.
For those who are listening on radio,
yeah.
just to quickly explain, we lost Lex Tan for a second, and I suddenly thought he even eliminated himself because he realized how bad those jokes were.
Yep.
Okay.
I wanted the jokes to be bad. Okay.
Oh no, they weren't just bad. I couldn't
Success,
even
my
react.
friend.
Anyways,
I thought I was gonna get the host again. It would have been such an honor, folks. It
Oh,
would have been an honor
sorry,
once
Jose.
again.
Next time.
No,
Next time.
Chico, I know Chico misses it. Colin misses me. It's a very thoughtful, fellas. Thank you.
Yeah.
You can co-host with me on Sunday as I do our reaction
Wayo.
to Dynasty.
Oh, and bury me at the same time. Jeez, I told you for weeks I was going to be there with you.
What?
Speaking of being there, folks, once
I
again,
don't pay attention to our chat.
by the way, as a reminder, yes, the AEW Dynasty live stream is this Sunday at 7:45 Eastern, and my good friend and now starting to become Colin's great friend, Peter Atkinson, will return to help Lex and Colin call some AEW. So it's
Continuing the AEW education of Lex Tan. Yes, we do our best.
that's what these streams have become. Absolutely.
Exactly.
So,
I have to educate my fellow friends on a wrestling podcast about a wrestling promotion.
so tune in when parts of the Commonwealth unite for AEW.
Yeah.
Ah, very nice.
Lot of
Very
fun.
nice.
Should be a lot of fun.
Yes. And as we go into break over here, we will take a listen to John Dawson's Under All the Lights, which is a tribute to Cody and Brandy. But when we come back after the break, we will actually get into the conversation with AEW Dynasty and the 6 matches that have been announced so far, which obviously look like they've got some really good matches lined up, as with AEW programming does for these pay-per-views. So we will be back after these promotional considerations.
Under all the lights, with only everyone. He's looking for one single face.
And welcome back to Ringside Heat on Newstalk Saga 960 AM. Lex Tan alongside Colin Dodge, Jose Tabuada, and Chico Nugent. And we're going to start off the wrestling talk here with a little bit of AEW Dynasty talk, which is coming up this coming Sunday. 6 matches have actually been announced so far. Of course, we still have another maybe 8 matches to look forward to other than the ones that we have listed so far. So Colin, why don't you run down the card as it's been announced so far?
Well, honestly, the last couple pay-per-views, the main card has stayed in single digits now.
Ooh.
I mean, So,
Oh,
I mean,
yes.
it has been 9, but still,
Yeah.
that's a single digit. So that counts. So they are reining it in. The streak has continued from all of last year, continuing to this year, to very solid pay-per-views. With only minor glitches last year that made me angry, but this year it's been pretty great. So starting us off so far, the 3-way match for the AEW International Championship. So many syllables in all these titles. We've got Kenny Omega is defending against Ricochet, who I've said in our chat, has saved his career with his heel turn, if you ask me, versus Speedball Mike Bailey.
Wow.
Who the hell
Montreal's
is
own.
Speedball Mike Bailey? I don't know either, but he's Canadian. So
TNA expert Chico Nugget here.
Finally.
Speedball Mike Bailey has been a force to reckon with in TNA and Impact Wrestling, and he's now lauded by indie fans as a great debut pickup for AEW. Resume.
Well, fantastic, because he's in a championship match already. So yes, they had a great little promo show off a little bit. Well, Kenny Omega and Speedball did. Those were the two that are actually in the ring. Ricochet, annoyingly, was just via the Videotron, which is what a good heel should do. So next up, of course, this is in no particular order, but we have properly Swerve Strickland going after John Moxley for the AEW World Championship. Looking very forward to that. I know the joke is it feels good that it's Swerve Strickland, even though he's still not an AEW original. He's no more an AEW original than Edge is. I mean, Adam number 1. So still, he is a former AEW championship. So this is where I think the story needs to go next, because this is a second person now that is not scared of John Moxley, and John Moxley, story-wise, does not know how to handle that. So, which is great. Then, of course, we have AEW Women's World Championship. Timeless Toni Storm working her butt off to make Megan Bayne a credible, scary threat, and she's done that. Also being aided by Thunder Rosa and Chris Statlander, who they've been putting Megan Bayne over. So that's going to be a very interesting, fun match to watch. Remember the AEW World Trios Championships?
What?
Nope, me neither. But Death Riders are the champions. That would be Claudio, Pac, and Wheeler Yuta. Remember, they were taken out by Concertos. Well, they're healed and they're angry. So Rated FTR is going to be challenging them for those World Trios Championship matches. But there's turmoil, folks, within FTR and Rated FTR. Yes, they lost their focus of the tag titles because they were helping their buddy Cope. No, not the...
Who?
Cope. Edge. Yeah.
Wow. Yes,
They were
Edge.
helping.
Yeah, Edge.
They were helping him cope with what?
John
With
Moxley.
the name change.
And then Edge
yes.
failed.
Okay.
So they got mad, and now, they're infighting. So I don't see them winning this belt. But hey, this is, I guess, we get Edge out of there, and he's going to deal with FTR now. Hopefully Christian returns soon and causes havoc, and I want an E&C reunion or an ACCC Music Factory reunion, whatever we're going to call them.
CCCB.
Yeah, it checks out, Jose. I did the math on this. Don't worry.
I got you.
Nice.
You
I
got me. A match that maybe I'm the only one who's looking forward to this is Chris Jericho defending his Ring of Honor World Championship against Bandito, and it's a title versus mask match because Chris Jericho shamelessly already took the mask of his brother Gravity. Bandito got it back, but now he's after Bandito and he wants Bandito's mask. So that's going to be happening as well. And then finally, remember the TNT Championship? I forgot for a while too. Daniel Garcia is still champion. Adam Cole and MJF are no longer allowed to be near each other storyline wise. So Adam Cole is going to go after Daniel Garcia for the TNT Championship because sure, why not? Sure. It's a belt. It's a pay-per-view. Let's defend it. So hopefully it becomes interesting, but Daniel Garcia hasn't changed in like years to me in gimmick wise. So, it'll be a great match, but I don't care who wins. So, but hopefully something will turn onto that. And again, possible 15 more matches. I'm sure some Owen Hart tournament matches will be added because that starts. Well, the bracket gets announced on Wednesday. I don't know if any of the matches will start on Wednesday, but it's Owen Hart tournament time again. So that's always fun for me too. I'm actually wearing the wrong shirt. I should be wearing a shirt.
Where does that culminate?
At the Liacouras Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania.
I mean the tournament.
I don't know if it's going to stretch all the way to All In. It might be Double or Nothing because that's in May.
Okay.
I don't know if they can stretch it all the way to July, so probably in May. It'll be obviously too soon to conclude it at Dynasty, so probably Double or Nothing will be the finals. But now the winners the men and women winner, they get a title shot to technically whatever title they want, but obviously they would go after the big one. So
first question over here for you, Colin, is Swerve and John Moxley. Does Swerve win, or does John Moxley keep on going?
I want Moxley to be thrown at All In Texas, because that's a bigger show.
Okay. But
unless they continue Swerve and John repeatedly until then that's fine. The dethroning of all the Death Riders has to be a bigger spectacle than what they've done. However, the planning with Edge and how they swerved him off of there. See what I did there?
Hey.
Thank you. And those are jokes to groan at. So that's I don't know what they were trying to do there. It didn't land, but Swerve and John I like. So if they can stretch it to All In, I think that's better.
Colin, I have a question for you too. I'm hearing rumors that they've been trying to tease dissension within the Death Riders. Is this true?
Well, it's always that way with Wheeler Yuta, because he's brainwashed and then he's not brainwashed for half a second, and then he does like he's heel turning as much as Big Show right now with his brainwashed. Is he going to come around? And it all started when, are you a wrestler or are you an entertainer? So he's just been doing, and even Daniel Garcia was doing that for a while. So it's he was doing that with Chris Jericho, and then Yuta was doing that with Bryan Danielson, Daniel Bryan. So yeah, those two, it's been the same old thing for a while. So Yuta is back to being brainwashed again. It was really funny on, I believe it was Dynamite. He went for a hug with Claudio, and then Claudio just looked at him like an idiot. And I thought, well, I don't understand these little story beats they're putting in with these guys. It's really interesting. So yeah, it's a big story of the brainwashing of Wheeler Yuta. So I don't know. It's got Stockholm syndrome.
So here's something that I guess AEW adjacent that I'd like to ask you guys as well. Is that when Bret Hart said earlier today, or when it was posted on social media, that Bret Hart was saying that WWE, sorry, that wrestlers these days are need to be more actor, or tend to be more actor than wrestler, which is the reason why he likes 90s wrestlers better. But he sort of kind of mistakenly, at least in my mind, referred to the more actor wrestlers as in AEW rather than WWE. Do you think that was just a misnomer in his part?
I think so, because he also debuted the AEW World Championship for the first time. He came out and did that on their show years and years ago. When they finally showed what the AEW World Championship was going to look like, Bret Hart came out and presented it with Tony Khan. I'm like, Bret, don't you remember you did that?
Well, obviously a lot can change in 5 years, but if this is where I chime in, it's funny because they always present themselves as the alternative with more action. I do believe that there's more focus. I believe that
on the wrestling too,
on the wrestling side of it. And, AEW will do stuff in the ring that WWE won't do. And I'm not talking about the extreme groups and stuff, but when it comes to the technicality,
well, until Gunther and Jimmy, but yes.
Right. So
taking a page out of AEW's book with that one, but anyway, we'll talk about that
later. but there is more focus, I believe, and again in the small sample that I have, size that I have, more on the technical aerial side of things, which I to be honest kind of leans more into what Bret was talking about on Tuesday. Yeah. So it was a little bit surprising. I mean, yes, there are some outlandish characters like Tony Storm, for example. Has
to be. It's the entertainment side of the business.
Yeah, so, it is. And WWE is also very more story narrative than AEW anyway. So, and yes, they may not have over the top characters. In some cases they do, but for the most part, they're still very focused on that storyline, to which, and we'll talk about it later in the show, how we were looking for a stronger story point leading in WrestleMania season, with WrestleMania now just a couple of weeks away. So yeah, it was interesting to hear that. I don't believe it, and this is coming from the more WWE preference guy. Interesting words, to say the least. I don't know. I'm curious to know what Bret Hart's what was Bret Hart watching to get that opinion. Yeah. What part of AEW were you focusing on? Because I know people want to say that about I wouldn't say that about Ospreay's matches as an example. So it's I'm intrigued. Interesting choice of words.
Yeah, and I think, like I said in our chat, sorry, Chico, just quick, it's just I had said it's just not last year and this year where I could see where it was more. Well, actually, I think Steve was talking more about dream matches and all that kind of stuff. But at the beginning, you need eyes on the product and, all the things that Sting did, for example, and all that kind of stuff and bring it back. But so that's just to get, it's what Jericho's doing in Ring of Honor right now. But yeah, so it's that kind of thing. I can see that at the beginning, but this last year and this year, they're definitely shifting to what I think they're probably going to be like long-term and where their focus is. But yeah, the top stories, you're going to have your monologues with the bad guys and all that kind of stuff. Cause again, that's the business part of it too, or the entertainment part. You need that to sell tickets and fill your stadiums, or not stadiums, arenas. Sorry, AEW, you'll get there.
They do have a stadium.
They have Wembley next year again, apparently. So
and all in Texas. Is that a
Globe Life Field is a stadium, folks?
Yes, absolutely. I'm gonna say that as a person who sees Bret Hart as the greatest of all time, and that would be my personal preference. I kind of separate Bret Hart, the technical wrestler that I value as the greatest, and the embittered old man who had his career cut off early and has some good reason to carry certain grudges, Goldberg, around with him forever. But I now see him as that uncle who just spouts out at the fam jams, and I just kind of dismiss him. Like, I love him, but I don't really take anything he says seriously anymore. I'm sorry to say, and that's from a mark for Bret Hart. I don't know if that sounds really weird or whatever.
No, it's in your shade, sir.
It's unfortunately the consensus with a lot of a lot of people from Bret Hart's generations, like from opinions to politics to their actions. A lot of people are doing that with the older, which it's fine. It's people have their reasons to go other side. It's totally fine. It's not
right
wrong with that. But
these days worlds are colliding all over the place between what we're watching on TV and then what we're seeing in their social feed or their podcast or something like that. You know what I mean? So that's kind of happening all over the place anyway, even with the current stars.
Yeah. So in that spirit, I kind of, yes, I know that Jose put it out as something that was kind of that could be an interesting topic of discussion, but to me, it almost becomes like white noise now. Like it doesn't turn my head as much. Yeah. But I get it because it is Bret and his opinion carries weight. So there you go.
It's also kind of funny because I don't think anybody would disagree, and if people disagree, then I don't think you've been watching enough product. That wrestling has evolved from his era. It's become
of course it has. Yeah. Of course.
I mean, evolution is just a natural part of life, but the way that the talent today on both shows have just have really taken the art of wrestling and really put on spectacles, and then some. They evolved the technicality, evolved their movesets. It's to me, maybe kind of like to Chico's point a little bit. It is kind of hard to kind of watch wrestling from the 90s, from the 80s, knowing that what we have today. I was watching
not for me.
The WWE Evolve put out WrestleMania 3 we had it live, so I was tuning in a little bit. And again, 1987 was just so different compared to what you have in 2025. Let alone 2000, right? So
I was 6. It was a magical time. I remember, but yeah.
Well, one of the features on the WrestleMania 18 DVD back in the day was obviously we had your Hogan and Rock main event along with Jericho and Triple H, but then there was a special feature with Edge saying, "Hey, I was at WrestleMania 6 in 1991, and this was my favorite match. We'll present to you the full Hogan and Warrior matchup for the WWF Championship." And to me, it was unwatchable. It was 30 minutes of unwatchable main event, basically, and that was only. Well, that was only 11 years prior. So there's yes, I mean,
actor over wrestling.
Yes,
that match.
so yeah, exactly. but as kind of Colin alluded to earlier, is that like evolution is a mystery. It's like full of change that no one sees.
I knew you were gonna go there, Jose. What was your finish of that thought?
Colin already went there. I just wanted to finish off the idea that it's full of change that no one sees, and as it's changing, you only see that like when hindsight is 20/20 at that point.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, no, I will agree. I'll double down on that. It's less and less watchable 80s wrestling, and even before that. It's tough, and I think we are in an era now where there are so many good viable options on at the same time, and yes, it has definitely evolved in different ways. And we're in a time where if you want a certain type of thing, there is a different company for it. And you can access it, fairly easily, or not with not much effort. So again, Uncle Brett just spouting off at Thanksgiving.
Just to go off of that quickly, Chico, I'd say we might even be more spoiled these days than when ECW was at its height, Ring of Honor was at its height, when Samoa Joe was there first, and CM Punk and Daniel Bryan were there first. Where we have now, where it is like a bunch of wrestling programs on TV, but very different flavors. So you still have the tried and true WWE that's always there, and they've evolved themselves. But then you've got the more quick to the point is the way I categorize it, AEW, and then you've got, and I haven't been watching TNA, but there's been a lot of new people, Joe Hendry out of TNA, and I know he's not originally out of TNA, but that are really popping right now and all that kind of thing too. Jordan Grace, that is now part of WWE and that kind of thing, so that kind of stuff. So we're spoiled again. It's great. It's good.
Yeah, I think AEW would be the more indie-rific with money, maybe some would say, and then WWE is what it is, and it is as it's always been, but evolved. And then TNA's in the middle somewhere, I find, which is kind of interesting that it has a bit of both.
AEW being indie-rific with money. This is also this also is a kind of a I guess an encouraging report for them, is that SES Scoops reported that the ratings for AEW for TBS and HBO Max aggregate them for the week. It's they clock out at about 1 million weekly viewers. So that's
it's growing little by little. I think Max is helping, but also there's top storylines that are interesting, and the indie-rific part, I would say there's more and more polish that keeps coming up. The run of pay-per-views, those first years, some of them were kind of like, okay, these are the two really good matches that I know I'm hyped for, and then the rest I'm either learning about everybody else, and then I'm like, oh yeah, another Blood and Guts, really? So but they've cooled on that finally, and just Blood itself has cooled off a lot last year and this year, so it's use it to be effective, not because the lights are on and the camera's rolling. So there's a difference.
We saw an effective use of Blood this week as well, but I'll let our host take the show back here.
Ringside Heat on Newstalk Saga 960 AM. Make sure you are tuning in this coming Sunday in 4 days for our AEW Dynasty Watch Along. 7:45 p.m. is when the stream will go live. It will be Colin, it will be Peter, it will be myself, and anybody who wants to come and join in as well. Maybe Jose will come and join. Maybe Chico will come and join.
Chico from the shadows in the chat room.
I unfortunately, this is gonna sound like I'm trying to avoid it, but I'm really not. I did just remember that I am busy that day.
Okay.
All right. I am busy.
You're making Will Ospreay cry.
I know, but I am.
He doesn't have a match yet, but I'm sure he will.
For context, it is my cousin's birthday, and we got invited, and we have to drive over to the
priorities, sir.
To the Hamilton area. To the Hamilton.
Is this
Happy birthday to him?
Is this the same cousin that got you to go to Elimination Chamber?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
Oh, so he's not even your favorite cousin then.
And on that note, we're going to go to break. We'll be back after these promotional considerations.
Under all the lights, with only everyone, he's looking for one single face.
Welcome back to Ringside Heat and News Talk Saga 960 AM. Lextan at Lextan Media. Ringside Heat at Ringside_Heat on YouTube, on Instagram, on X, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, and Patreon. Alongside Colin Dodge at Risen72. I was about to read Member Berry there again.
That also counts.
At Ken
You know what I
Jiracast.
do here. Yeah, we know what I do.
And speaking of which, his Godzilla podcast, at Ken Jiracast, is where you can follow him.
New episode just dropped.
That's right. Jose Tabuada, director of digital content at Tabuada93, and as well follow his Blue Jays blog at Jats on Base. Chico Nugget at Coco Collects, follow his wrestling collection at that particular social media handle. He is a wrestling memorabilia expert, and he's got the toy version of the toy belt, John Cena's fitter belt over here, which I believe I have somewhere in storage or something like that. I just haven't found it. I just haven't looked in storage for now, but he goes and spins it. That reminds me of that's right. He's got that one too.
Who do you mean he? Because you just threw a lot of he's. Jose's got one too.
Well, Jose's got one.
And
Chico's got one.
This is the dramatic reenaction of CM Punk's return in 2011 to confront John Cena.
Who's the real champ? Well, I mean, Punk
Yours is the full-size title, right, Chico?
Well, I have one too, but I'm holding the toy one as
You're
well.
holding the toy one as well. Okay,
yeah,
great.
yeah.
I actually want the full-sized one. That's it.
Yeah,
I guess I should have the AEW belt that CM Punk spray painted with an X and called
yes,
himself a
you
real
really
champion.
should.
That one time he was desperate enough to do that, unlike what he said a couple weeks ago. Anyway, so
That's right. That's right. I noticed that too, Colin. That he said like, I'm not desperate enough
to create a belt. Yeah,
to create a belt. Well, you kind
well,
of
like actually you kind of
yeah.
It was supposed to be Collision's belt, and then there was a problem with Sugar Glass, and it all fell apart. Anyway,
I gotta say it's funny you're bringing that up, and the conversation sparked again about should each show bring each other up and in what capacity. And I mean, Punk said that, I never created a belt, and then Cena and Cody went to war, which was something.
So many shots.
Oh my goodness,
Mhm.
to say the least. I don't even know where to go with that. Oh,
Yeah,
Is that where we're going?
Yeah.
I
For
guess.
sure we're
Yeah.
going there. We're
So-
for sure going there.
Good lead
yeah.
in, Jose.
that's our lead-in. Let's do
yeah,
it.
I had a feeling that it was a lead in somewhere.
No, let's talk about Chris Jericho and Bandito some more.
Oh my goodness.
I was just watching Chris Jericho's
Yes!
reading of his 1004 holds.
Oh,
I
it's
just
so
watched
good.
it again on Nitro. It's fantastic stuff.
That was the best time of WCW when they
Armbar.
left Jericho alone and didn't care what was on because NWO wasn't out yet. Anyway, all
That's
right.
right. That's right.
Cena.
Oh, who's the host again?
and the other guy.
You wanna bring us in
One of
here?
us is somewhere. I'm not sure which. Which
He's
one
thinking
us
of more
is.
punchlines.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, the last again. One thing that keeps on impressing me about what's been happening with Cena and Cody Rhodes is that after the phenomenal events of Elimination Chamber here in Toronto and John Cena's first words back during the European tour on Raw, and just week after week after week, it just for how they just keep on just upping the ante and upping the intensity and the excitement toward this match over here, with Cody at the end getting the first upper hand physically as he was able to hit the crossroads Rhodes and Cena. But there were a lot of shots across the bow that were like maybe work, or that were obviously work, but a little bit cutting, the little cuts of deepness between these two over here as they went along, and the whole calling out of not mentioning by name Vince McMahon and Tony Khan. What's the one when Cena said something about stealing. I make money from billionaires. You steal it from their
Build
sons.
empires or something.
I build empires for billionaires. You take money from their kids.
There you go.
Yeah.
And then talking about a guy that getting the John Cena getting the push from a guy who's not here anymore that we don't talk about. So.
Hey, and the billionaires and stealing money from their kids too. I'm realizing now that has more than one meaning as well. You did bring in Tony Khan, and yes, he is a billionaire's kid. That's one.
Mm-hmm.
And two, Hunter in a way, and he was going against him before. So kind of a
son-in-law,
you know,
yeah.
Ooh,
both of them. So good on you, John. for calling that out. It's a really fun promo battle, man. Each week has been different, I think. And this week definitely took a turn. I will say, though, something that I was talking about with Lex last week. There were moments, even though the promo was fantastic, I could feel the cartoony, stereotypical villain in John Cena.
So did I. And I heard it more this past Monday than
yes,
than
you
last
got
week.
it too, right?
I did.
Yeah, kind of like I'm talking like a bad guy.
Yeah.
Well, and this is too where I picked up with the CW breakup speech. It was. It went on too long. I thought I was watching Smallville, and
hard disagree. I did not think it went
Super
too long
Cena.
at all.
With Super Cena, right? It fits, But okay. So my concern with it all, though, is he's starting to outshine Cody now, because I think he kind of turned the crowd in his favor. It wasn't so split.
I think they were pretty even.
I thought they were
even.
I'd say even to the point where I've seen the general reaction on social media. The general reaction on social media was Cena found somebody that can hold their own against him, and it's
he can hold
that's
his
what I'm
own,
getting
but
to.
he's very much the straight guy now. To this, you're the straight man. Like think of comedy, the straight man versus the
character
cartoon villain, right? So it's. I don't know. I think if it keeps going, I mean, thank goodness Mania is only 2 weeks away. If it was a month away, I don't know. I think the main event, one of the main events, might be in trouble.
You could say. I mean, let's go to where we were a couple of weeks ago, which was a month away, and Cena didn't even appear for those first 2 shows after Elimination Chamber because they were getting ready because he had to finish a movie in Turkey or something along those lines.
Finish off filming. Yeah.
So Cody, yes, on his own, it was tough. He tried to carry on his own, and again, he did what he could, but I think it was kind of like the same bland Cody that we've seen for a long time, and people were complaining. Cena comes on. I think obviously he took his war, like Cena got the upper hand those first 2 weeks, got the better punches, but it's like they told Cody, okay, time to flip the switch, game on, and he did. I really do believe, Colin, that Cody did hold his own. Yes, Cena had some of the most insane lines, but also Cody. And the only word I can say is that was vicious was a Jorts line, but I'm not even going to say what was before because it's the PG show.
Yeah.
So I do believe that Cody got even, and I think people were saying this is the Cody that we needed, and I 100% agree. This is the kind of vicious Cody that we need. To Chico's point, yes, it's Cena is emphasizing a lot, which is fine. But when I hear people emphasize like that to show their angry voice, it's hard to take seriously.
Yes,
exactly.
Which is kind of funny because I go back to the Cena burying Roman promo, the promo that Roman realized, okay, I need to do a career change before No Mercy.
Yes.
And Cena,
and boy, did he get better. But yes, go ahead.
Thankfully, but Cena. I remember Cena's cadence and his approach in that, his tone in that promo, and it sounded just fine to the point where, you could even argue that he was even a little bit heelish for saying, I'm here part-time. I can do, but I do better. I do better part-time than you do full-time.
Right.
Yeah. Even he sounded so natural and so convincing.
Because
I don't know why.
Because that's him. That's John Cena, not necessarily the character, the face, or the heel. That's John Cena, the person, the man, fusing it with the character that he was playing at the time. This time, it was John Cena, the bad guy.
But I would also argue that you can still influence that into your own character. You can still bring that bit of realism. That is where the direction of promos are today, Lex.
Of course,
that sense of realism, and I think that kind of realism from Cena in 2017 could have been used here. I'm not saying that this isn't working. It's just some of my friends commented, and I'm happy that you brought it up, Chico. Even to the point where his cell after the Crossroads killed me. His mouth open, he just kind of looked there like clueless and blank, and I'm like, that's a bit of an oversell. I know that's an oversell.
Maybe a little bit.
It was a little bit of, and of course, people
like Sean Hogan.
People are asking, how do you
like that?
People are saying, how do you?
Like that.
people would say, how do you oversell like lying down on the floor? Well, look at the face expressions.
Yeah.
I've seen people just look knocked out better
Vince
than
McMahon,
that.
like in taking his first stunner.
Sure, but he was face down.
And then
He
you've
was
got
face down. That was the difference. I'm talking about like the
No,
aftermath.
Vince
Yeah.
McMahon. He was like
was
the
Vince- oh, he was face
tweaking, the
He was up. He was
twitching
up,
like
and
a
he looked
fish.
like he was
Yeah.
twitching
having a
like a fish out
seizure.
of water.
Point
But then
is,
you've got naturals like Dolph Ziggler or Nick Nemeth, who looks like he's been murdered with every finisher that ever's been put on him.
Classic.
Like the guy's amazing, right?
Oh,
So, yeah.
my point is, despite all this, I'm still okay with it at the end of the day.
Same.
The words are the promo battles have been amazing. Finally, there's physicality, and there's going to be argument about what should be the main event, what should not be the main event, especially for night one. But obviously, no matter what, this was going to be, and deservedly so, a main event for night two.
Anyone
April
who
20th.
has main event as their moniker should be in the main event. Oh, sorry.
Oh wow. No
Which-
yeets in this case.
Well, here's the but
That's not what he gets for a title belt. Oh, no, wait.
Oh.
But
Colin, respectively, you can say that about the women's world title, both women's world titles.
that's true.
Nobody's gonna win. There's too many titles. Nobody is going to win.
As long as a non-title gets it, yeah.
It's happened before. Hold on. It's happened before.
yes, it has.
I
It
know.
happened
I know.
before.
I know.
well, here's the thing.
I'm being a jerk right now. That's all I'm doing.
Here's the thing: triple threat match here between between CM Punk, Seth Rollins, Roman Reigns. Great segment last Friday on SmackDown. I just entirely love Paul Heyman just singing along with singing along with the crowd and all that. And you can say as well that the long-term storytelling that those three have had together, and then put Paul Heyman in that mix, has just been really, really great and everything as well. Obviously, I don't think that's going because it's not for a title. It's not going to supersede, I guess, Jay and Gunther for with conventional thinking. Conventional thinking would make it that way. However, I would have to, and Jay and Gunther. Plus Jimmy, that story has been building up very, very well. And
Monday was good though. I gotta
yes,
say.
oh, so good, so good.
Monday
Yeah.
saved it. Monday
Yes.
saved it. I'm not gonna sit here and say
And Jimmy slap. I'm sorry. I love
Jimmy.
Jimmy
I'm not
slap.
gonna sit here and say that Jay Gunther has had an amazing build. It was like before maybe last week in that promo with Jimmy. It wasn't.
It needed
selling
some.
a lot. It needed something more. So I
Yeah.
can't say it was
Yeah.
great
Yeah.
all the way.
Yes, but at the same time, the upward trajectory that we see now, that's also something that I look back on, and I like that. I really enjoyed that upward trajectory that this just comes out, not just out of nowhere, but there is, but it does make sense to have that, to have these things build in this sort of way. And I would have to say that these builds or these feuds have been pretty prominent and everything. And I know we're going back to a conversation that we had last week about the women, the women and their builds right now. I personally would say that I really like the work that Io, Bianca, and Rhea have done over the past few weeks and everything. And I like how that's building. But and for probably for any other show, maybe not a WrestleMania, but any other show on the throughout the year, that would have been that would have been a really, really good build for these for these three great female wrestlers. But because it's WrestleMania and how great the three feuds that we've been talking about over the past few minutes, this is it's unfortunately like paling in comparison, and I wish it wasn't.
Are you watching the same show that Chico
I don't-
and I were
I
watching?
don't think he is.
I don't think he is either.
I don't
And I
think he
say
is.
that with respect, but I first of all, Chico and I have been like bonding over the last few weeks.
Very strange.
I'm loving it. I am loving this.
No.
Chico,
Anyway.
for those that are not watching on YouTube, Chico was kind of doing the so-so thing as Lex was going along, and I kind of have to lean towards Chico there, and I'd rather have Chico explain it. But I think to summarize everything, because we are running out of time, and each of those matches have their own like stories and their own like reason factors that we can't get into with the time allotted. I think the right main event is closing. The right match is closing night one. And
I'm not arguing that.
Okay,
That is not my argument at all. I'm just saying that if there if the other three matches, if it wasn't for the other three matches, Io, Bianca, and Rhea would be would be looked at a little bit more favorably in terms of their build.
Not in their execution. Not in their execution.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jose. I don't know.
No, Chico, take it on, please.
I'm gonna say that yes, I definitely am looking forward to this match. I will still say that.
100%.
Okay. I love Io's underdog potential. That is my highlight of this whole build. But Rhea going into it with this whiny thing and not quite having a place in this whole thing. I think it's taking her stock down. It's a very adverse effect for her right now. Not tremendously, but she's going down a little. She's still Rhea Ripley, so she's gonna kick ass and stuff. But I think it's such a wonky way to try to wedge her into a triple threat. It hasn't landed for me yet, and Monday was no different for me. Rhea still isn't in there for me, and I don't know. There's just something missing here. It's not cohesive for me.
I do wish that it was the WrestleMania 20 approach with that triple threat, the triple threat of WrestleMania 20, without going for the details. But
yeah,
Shawn Michaels, Sweet Chin Music, the Royal Rumble winner. We all know who it is.
Yes.
Sweet Chin Music, the Royal Rumble winner. He signs it himself. And then which was made official, right? And then the Sheriff Stone Cold made it a triple threat because the Royal Rumble winner had to get their spot.
Good callback.
So when in that contract sign, I was going in, okay, Rhea attacks Bianca. So it's Rhea Io, but then Bianca still owed her Elimination Chamber opportunity. There's your triple threat. And then you can build that triple threat just like how that WrestleMania 20 match was. The lead up to that to get to make it official is a little weird. Again, I agree with Chico, and I think that's why it's hard for me to kind of pin it as the main event. Again, not that they don't deserve it, because again, I think maybe to what Lex was alluding, if that had the right build and if that had the right momentum for a while, maybe as long as Punk, Roman, and Reigns, it was Punk
and Seth,
Roman and Seth. Excuse me.
I know Seth is forgettable. I know.
Yeah,
you have another women's main event. I think another women's WrestleMania main event will come.
Yes.
Once again, unfortunately, it is a bit of a strikeout, and that does suck.
Yeah, and I'm just gonna add this one last thing. I know we're running out of time, but for all the inconsistencies and how it's been booked, it could have at least been helped by these matches the last 2 weeks being more believable as just aggressive fight. But there's been a lot of spots, and it's been kind of spotty, where it's like a lot of fancy jumping around and stuff like that, where I don't feel the emotion of it entirely, because it's just it's the choreography is coming through a little more than just the spirit of the fight, and that could have at least helped it a little bit more, even if the logic hasn't been there. To add to Jose's point too, why would Rhea wait until they both had signed the contract for her to make another blank and just sign it herself? That in itself already kind of watered it down for me.
Technically void. Technically, what
it doesn't make sense, dude.
Pierce was right.
Rhea's being a child, and it was 100% true in that moment. So to me, Rhea, up to this point in the story, has not earned her place in this triple threat. Logically,
somebody hit the panic button and wanted Rhea in the match, and then they've been scrambling ever since.
Yeah, it feels like a shoehorn, and I don't want to say that, but it feels like
not
a
about
shoehorn.
Rhea. Yeah.
So the last question I have for you guys, quick answer for you guys: should Io Sky have won the championship that night on Raw?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
100%.
Yeah, it solidifies her part into it.
Yeah,
and
makes it
makes
exciting
her
for
the
WrestleMania.
surprise. And the one following that, where both of them were kind of shunning her until she had to knock them out, that was perfect.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's started to fall off a little bit since then.
Yeah.
The
blueprint was there. The blueprint was there.
But since then,
it's
been
good for the story that Io won in that
right.
moment, and then you figure out if Rhea was a child and she's trying to force her way in, you know what? At the end of the day, maybe it works. Who knows? We got 2 weeks away, folks.
Yeah.
Io should retain too, but anyway.
100%. That's
100%. I can't wait till we get to the prediction show, but yeah, go ahead.
Ringside Heat on Newstalk Saga 960 AM. That's it for us here on the radio. Please tune in on the podcast if you'd like to listen to this again, or if you missed any part of the show. And of course, tune in on our YouTube and follow us on all of our social media. Thank you to Colin.
To Rhea Ripley. Yeah.
Thank you, Ripley.
Thank you, Rhea. Yeah.
Thank you to member Barry Colin. Thank you to Jose. Thank you to Chico. Thank you to you, the listener. Ringside Heat. We remember the things that you probably forgot, and I probably forgot to talk in that segment too as well just now. Anyway, good night. Take care. See you next week. Oh, see you Sunday.
Sunday.
Good afternoon as well.
Sunday.